All right, so I want to talk about the introductory paragraph. Um, Alternate title of this video is I don't know how to start my essay. A lot of students run into this problem. They don't know how to get started, so we're going to help. First of all, it's best to know your topic or your subject. If you don't know anything about it, start reading about it or watch some videos about it or write about something that you know already, because if you don't know anything about it, it's going to be difficult to write any kind of paper. Write a thesis statement. Some people find that they do better once they've done some pre-writing, they've got some ideas on paper, or they've written an outline, and then they write a thesis statement. And that's not a terrible way to go about it, but before you start writing your paper, you have to know what it's about, and that means you have to know what your thesis statement is. And very occasionally you might write a paper and then look back and realize, oh, I wrote a thesis statement and then I wrote a paper, and really the paper isn't about that thesis statement, so you could change your thesis statement later, right, before you turn in the paper. But broadly speaking, the best way to go is write the thesis statement and then stick to it. Step 3, fill in the rest. That's easy. We're done. We just
Just go home.
Just go home.
This is the hard part.
Yes, this is the hard part. You might start your paper with an anecdote. I fell in love with reading at a young age, and then you can talk about reading in the rest of your paper, and that could lead eventually into your thesis statement. A quote or a fact or a statistic. Well, Pink Floyd once saying, "We don't need no education," but maybe we do. And please don't ever start a sentence with a conjunction.
It's fine. Start a sentence with conjunction.
Don't do it. Don't do it. As you can tell from the handwriting, I didn't write this.
It sounds good though, but maybe different video. Go ahead.
Scenario. You might start with a scenario. Well, imagine a world where books don't exist. In fact, they're illegal. Whoa. Okay. That's a way that gets the reader's attention. That hooks the reader. Wow. Now I have to imagine a world in which books don't exist, and in fact they're illegal. That's kind of shocking. What would a world like that look like? Well, it would look like Fahrenheit 451. You're going to have to be careful with this because the subject of this sentence is an implied you. Imagine a world. Some instructors will get a little picky about using the second person. You shouldn't write in first or second person. In fact, same with I fell in love with reading at a young age. From middle school and high school, you can probably get away with it. Even maybe some, like a freshman college course, freshman university course. Well, even this one, maybe we do, that's first person. You have to be a little bit careful about that. Some instructors will not want you to write in first or second person ever, but it's a topic for another video. So scenario, imagine a world, and you hook your reader by getting him to imagine this thing that maybe he hasn't imagined before. Background information. Ray Bradbury was a science fiction writer who warned of the dangers of technology and the importance of books and education. So you hook the reader by telling him a little bit of the background behind the person who wrote the book. And please don't ever write, "In this essay I will," because that's been done to death. And it's obvious that everything you're writing in the essay is in the essay. Don't tell the reader what you're going to tell him. Just tell him. Some people will say, tell him what you're going to tell him, and then tell him what you told him. That's not the worst way to write everything, but that's a pretty terrible way to write most essays, to be blunt about it. That's a lazy way, and that will always achieve suboptimal results. It's never the way to get the best results. If that's what your instructor wants, okay, stick with it. But when you're taking a standardized test, you should probably not do that. And if you're taking a fairly serious writing course, you should probably not do that. You should not list your talking points ahead of time. Don't use your introductory paragraph to say, here are all the things I'm going to say. The reader's going to know what you're going to say because you're going to say them. You're going to give us an introductory paragraph, and in the body of your paper, you're going to list and talk about all your talking points. And then in the concluding paragraph, and I'm sure we'll do a video on that, you don't need to list your talking points again. They're right there in front of the reader. He can refer back to them. If you've written a very long paper, you might sum up some of those things in a concluding paragraph. But most papers that you write for class will be 500 or 1,000 words. It's not. It's a 4 or 5 pager. The reader can just flip back and he can look at whatever you've written previously. He doesn't need to be reminded. if you'd written a 100-page paper, if it were a dissertation, okay, you might have to sum things up and you might have to refer back to your talking points in the conclusion or something like that, but not necessary in most academic papers. Does that cover the introductory paragraph reasonably well?
Yeah, I think so. We should definitely show them how to do an outline on one of the videos.
We'll do an outline one of these days.